new Black Wall Street. Do it right, build wealth, live life, economic empowerment, real tips, insight on the new Black Wall Street. It's on the new Black Wall Street. Here's your host. The new Black.
It look like this thing still trying to play. Oh Lord, what? That thing ain't stopped. Wait a second. All right, where's my music now? Hopefully it stopped. What's going on, beautiful people, man? Good evening to you. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the new Black Wall Street, man. Welcome to Wall Street. I want to do a quick. It look like this thing still trying. Yeah, it's doubling. Oh Lord. Wait a second. Are y'all hearing double too? I might need to read. Yeah, I might need to. 1 second. Man, welcome to Wall Street. I want to do a quick. Are y'all hearing double too? I might need to read. What's going on? Are y'all hearing double too? I'm let me see if I can. How do I do? If I go out, will this mess up? I don't know. Maybe it stopped now. No, I didn't. I'm hearing a double feed, man. Are you guys hearing a double feed? Are y'all hearing double too? I might need to read. What's y'all hearing double? Okay, I'm gonna try to refresh and see if I still stay in here. All right, let's try this again, man. I think we might have fixed the problem. I'm not sure. I'm gonna check and see if we hear double here, man. But anyway, while we're waiting, just to see we got through this sound issue. Nah, I'm still. Oh Lord, here we go. This is gonna be a problem. What do I do? What do I do? Oh, I know why. Let's try this again. I think I fixed the problem. I figured out what it was. Anyway, man, good evening to you. Thanks so much for joining us here today on the new Black Wall Street, guys. I bring you guys welcome to Wall Street. It's the end of the year. And, if y'all know anything about me, I always do something at the end of the year just to end it out with a bang as we go moving towards 2021. So we will have a quick virtual toast as well. And we're going to talk about a few things, man. Tonight's title is the 2021 Money Turn Up. And if you guys were with us last night, I mentioned this. I said, hey, I need my money to turn up in 2021. And I'm here to tell you guys that no matter your sentiments for 2020, whether it was a great year for you, good year, not too good of a year, the great news is that in 2021, it only gets better. And so I'm going to be hitting this thing from a couple of different sides tonight. Obviously, the financial side, but before you got the financial, you got the psychological side. If you fix your mind, you will fix your money. That's what I want you to understand tonight. If you fix your mind, you fix your money. Once you begin to fix your mind, you will begin to fix your habits. Once you begin to fix your habits, you will fix your money. I was thinking about this before I came on, how Rome wasn't built in a day. And in the same way that whatever your financial situation is right now, whether you are on a mountain or in the valley, it was not built in a day. And no matter where you want to go, as far as your finances is concerned, and as far as your life is concerned, it is not built in a day. So I find it interesting how those who try to get rich quick typically always lose, just like the tortoise and the hare. But those who build wealth over time, everybody put in console over time. You build wealth over time. It's something that you can appreciate, something that you probably worked hard for and worked smart for. And you find yourself in a much better situation emotionally as well, because there's an emotional component to this thing called money as well. I mean, when you don't have much of it, you start feeling the heat from the things that you need to pay for. And when you feel like you got enough of it, you got a little bit more calmness in your spirit, so to speak. So at any rate, so before we take our quick ad break, I want to hear from you guys. I want you to think about this, because this is really how we start the process to turning up with our money. It's got to be a turn up on the inside of us. And as you look at, okay, well, here's what I just came through for a year. You made it. You're still here 365 days into 2020. And we're starting to turn over a new leaf, or continue the path that we've been going as we get into 2021. It's not only was the start of the year, it was the start of a decade for us. The start of a decade. And hopefully this start to this decade, is much different than we experienced in the 90s or in the 2000s. Matter of fact, in the 2000s. But I want you to think about this question as we and answer this for me as we take our short ad break. Here's the question. I call it bring it or leave it. If you are regardless of whether you're an investor or not, but I want you to think about whether it's something that you have to decide to leave behind in 2020. It can't come with you into the new year. Typically, when I say this, I think habits of some sort. But then I also want you to think about, because this would be a good habit, bad habit, or a good thing, bad thing, or a good trait, bad trait, or whatever. Good speech, bad speech. But I also want you to think about something that you experienced, something that you went through in 2020 that made you stronger, that you are bringing with you to 2021. I would definitely say for many of us, it's going to either be perseverance or resolve. We had to persevere, a lot of us, to get through this year, the pandemic and all. Some of us came out smelling like roses, like Daniel. But I want you to think about, man, what is it, man? I cannot bring this part of me, whether it be whatever it may be, whatever comes to your mind. I can't bring this. I got to leave this in 2020. But this part, because there's a good and the bad, there's a pros and a con, there's the red devil and the white angel. This part of my life, yeah, it's coming with me. I gotta continue what we started as we move into 2021. While you guys are thinking about that, answering your question, love you hit the like button and share button if you care. Love to hit the like button, share button if you care. Also, let us know where you're connecting from, what city, what state, what country. Quite possibly, I am international. Got people all over the country who tune in to discuss money with me. I'd love to know where you're connecting from. Just see how far our reach is tonight on New Year's Eve. I did it a little bit early because I want you to have time to still go out and do whatever you're going to do to bring in the new year. So hopefully we can have a little time tonight as we get into, get into the money. Get to the money. Y'all know that what we're going to talk about here tonight. Hey, man, got to pay the bills with our quick advert. We'll be right back.
The new Black Wall Street. Oh, yeah.
All right, man, that is the Black Bazaar. We're actually doing a rebranding, going from ERGJ Black Bazaar to the Black Bazaar, so you can do business with us, shop with us, get some of your personal care needs. Also, our Afrocentric home decor by simply going to the website www.theblackbazaar.com, www.theblackbazaar.com. And I will tell you that I'll be talking tonight about one of the goals, my major goal for 2021 as it relates to the Black Bazaar. So hopefully you guys will continue to support. We can actually reach our goals as it relates to that. Let me catch up on these comments, man. Happy New Year to you, by the way. This probably be last time I see you before the turn of the day for many of you. So we're just doing a little bit early. I see that we got Miss Red Dawn is in the house, man. Thanks so much. Okay, we got that. We cleared up that vocal problem. Miss Vivian Reed is in the house, man. Good evening to you, Queen. Thanks so much for joining. Miss Yvette is in the house. Miss Selena Smooney is in the house, man. All our BBC members as well. If you're part of BBC, go ahead and put in comments on hashtag BBC. Miss Monica Allison out Philly. Thanks so much for joining us today. Happy New Year to you, Miss Glenda Tate Williams, one of my virtual students. Good evening to you. Thanks so much for joining us. Miss Kayawa, I saw you yesterday. You made it back today. That's 2 days in a row. You don't know what's going to happen. You keep tuning in. Who knows? Miss Tanisha, Tanisha. I love I'm so used to saying the other name out of Mississippi. My sister, my boss queen out in Mississippi doing a thing with her boutique. I know it's going well. She can continue to move forward with getting that thing and building her legacy through business. Mr. Sadler Henley, thanks so much for joining us here tonight. Say, hey, here's one of the things, man. I had to let go of some bad people. I mean, it was tough to do, but I finally cut the cord. I let the anchors go out of my life, and now I've been moving in lightning speed ever since. Man, look what happens when we get rid of the dead weight, man. MD Maryland's in the house. Kings Mountain, North Kakalaki. Thanks so much for joining us here today. Selena said, hey, man, procrastination can't come with me in 2021. I done held off for long enough. It's been long enough. Okay, it's time for some action. Self-awareness is coming with me in 2021. Say, hey, man, it wasn't all bad in 2020. I became more self-aware, and I'm bringing that with me to be more self-aware as we continue along this journey called life and hitting into 2021, the first part of the decade. The great day to you, Miss Sincere Newman is in the house. Thanks so much for joining us. Hey, guys. Of course, as I said, before I get to doing all my talking and stuff, I wanted to make sure I did a quick little toast to you guys, because I got my little wine here. I got to open this thing up. Hopefully, I don't make no mess. I already started opening up, but hopefully you got a little cup of water or something, soda, whatever you got. Oh, I don't know if it's gonna work. I thought it was gonna come off easy. Oh, struggling. At any rate, hopefully you got. Ooh, Lord Jesus. Okay, I don't want it to come off that way. If it's gonna come off, it's gonna come off that way. Okay, there we go. Woo! Took a little bit extra strength. Hey, so hopefully you got something. I should have prepped y'all, but it don't matter. I'm just doing a virtual toast. So I got and y'all been asking me about this too. This is pineapple Moscato, some wine. So I will be feeling pretty fine tonight. You can grab you a little cup of something if you got something close to you. Just do a quick toast to you, man, because I appreciate you. I'm glad that you're still here. You've come a long way. And you still got places to go, things to do, and people to see. So here is to you and your bright future that's ahead. And I can say that because you would not be tuning into me if you did not believe that there was some hope and possibility ahead. So I'm looking forward to hearing the testimonies of all of your endeavors, all the things that you secure, all the things that you do that you say that you were going to do, and all the things that you get because you said that you wanted to get it and you was willing to work at it. 2021, as I said, I think the model for this year obviously is 2021 money turn up. But then also I would add in these 3 words for you. It gets better. That's right, man. Everybody put that comment. So it gets better. No matter what it is that you felt, however it is that your life went, whatever you experienced in this past year, I want you to know as you move forward, it gets better. Cheers to you as we move into 2021. Quick little quote for you as we start to think about and talk about where you want to be financially, what it is that you want to accomplish financially. I will tell you a little bit about my progress this year in 2020, where I made the declaration I was going to start in my Cash App investing account. And my goal at that time when I started back in March, I started with $60, was to build a $10,000 account by the end of the year. And I felt that it was reasonably, it was a smart goal. It was meaning that it was something that, was something that was, that was attainable. it wasn't unrealistic for me when I thought about this goal. It was something that was attainable. It wasn't like I was saying I'm going to do $1 million. It said something that was attainable, something that was timely. I said, hey, by the end of the year, I forgot what all the S and the M stand for, but anyway, the SMART goal stuff. I set a SMART goal, and as I look at my account that I built over time, over this 9-month period, that 9-month period, I almost doubled what my goal was at 19.6, something like that, 19.6, I believe. And so tonight, what I wanted to talk about was how you can turn your money up in 2021. And but this quote here is so important because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. My journey to $19,663.60, it began with a declaration. It began with setting forth something I said I wanted to accomplish, something I wanted to do, regardless of who did something, regardless of what happened in the year, regardless of all the turmoil and politics and all that stuff, something I wanted to do. And because it's something I wanted to do, I was hell-bent on doing it. And this is what happens when you actually set forth something for you, not something that somebody else wants you to do for you, but something you want to do for you. I have yet to find a person who really wanted to accomplish something, really wanted to do something, really wanted to have something, really wanted to whatever. They had a strong desire, or what we would call an obsession, a strong desire for accomplishment, who did not accomplish it. Because what I found is that those who have that temperament, and it's not just a dream or a hope or a wish, it's something that they really, 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 really want. They got to have it. That the whole world moves or conspires on your behalf because you are determined, you are focused, you have set something, you've set a destination, and the universe is going to help you get there. Now, how many guys in 2020 actually set a destination when it comes to your finances? How many of you set a destination when it comes to your finances? And then behind that destination, say, hey, here's what I want to accomplish. Here's what I want to get to. You know, it was something that was smart, something that you could measure, something that was attainable. It was something that was realistic. It was something that was timely. And how many of you guys that had a SMART goal, that actually had a desire, said, here's what you want to do. Did you not accomplish it? Did you not accomplish it? For those who might say, well, I didn't accomplish it, I eventually say, well, did you really, really want to? Because in 2020, a whole year, now some things, did you really want to, and was it really smart? Was it something that was attainable, or was it something that was just too beyond measure? Like yesterday, we talked about cryptocurrency and said, hey, they think that by the end of the year of 2021, a Bitcoin would be at 300,000. Like that's just too much. That's beyond. That's not that it's impossible, but it's highly unlikely. So I set a goal for myself, and I said, here's what I want to do. And I went out and I did it. I did it over time. I set up things, put things into place into my life that I could actually do on a consistent basis to get there. And so I believe the same thing that whatever it is that you want to accomplish in 2021, is whatever it is that you want to attain as it relates to your finances, it's going to take understanding it's not going to happen overnight, right? But if you take a single step, you can get started. And then as you take that single step and get started, you're going to eventually get to your destination. Now, I had a lady say to me tonight, she said, hey, here's something that she wanted to accomplish, told me exactly what it is she wanted to accomplish. But she felt like she was so far away. You know what I told her? She said, man, matter of fact, see if I can get the text, because she texted to me. She said, I'm not going to tell you the whole quote, but she said, she feels like, I got a long way to go. This is what she said. She said, I got a long way to go, right? Before she accomplishes the things that she said she wanted. I got a long way to go. And here's the problem. Many of us, here's how we look at our situation. I got a long way to go. When you say I got a long way to go, you are already setting up for yourself that it's going to be a difficult journey, a long journey. You know what I told her? I said, no, you're closer than you think. You're closer than you think. You might feel like you got a long way to go, but I'm here to tell you that you are closer than you think. Everybody put in the console, I'm closer. You're closer than you think. Now, for many of you, you're closer than you think because you're actually beginning to think about what it is that you want to accomplish. That puts you closer. And then you write that thing down saying, here's what I'm going to do. That puts you closer. That puts you ahead of about 95, 80, 90% of the people on the planet that you actually thought about what it is that you wanted to do. And you wrote it down, say, here's what I'm going to do. You made the declaration. You made the promise to your God. And here's what I'm going to do. You asked for help, but you told him that you was going to do it. You set the destination. So first you thought about what it is that you wanted to do. You thought about what it is that you wanted to accomplish. You thought about what, and not only that, not only do I want you to think about what you want to accomplish, here's what I want you to think about as well. I want you to think about how you are going to feel when you accomplish it, when it gets done, when you check it off your list. How are you going to feel? How will you feel when you make that checkbox that is complete, that you are there, that you have arrived, that it is done, that is no longer something that you have to think about, that is behind you? How are you going to feel when you accomplish your financial goal? See, now that you thought about it, you say, man, here's what I want to do. And then you begin to think about how you're going to feel when you get it done. That puts you into the space of desire. That puts you into the space of obsession. That puts you into the space that now you have the whole world getting behind you to help you to get where it is that you want to be. Now, we find this be true in a lot of different spaces in life. I had somebody call me yesterday, and they were talking about starting a new business that they wanted to do. I think they wanted to get the T-shirts and stuff like that. And then, then we were talking. She asked, well, if I knew anyone that had a heat press. And I was like, well, not off the top of my head. It's not like a daily request that I get about a heat press, but I'll keep my eyes out for you. Well, I was out today, traveling, driving around, playing chauffeur. And I went to one of my spots to, kind of wish the owner Happy New Year and talk to him, stuff like that. And they were telling me that they were going through, they're going through their inventory just like I'm going through my inventory, and they're going through liquidation. They're starting to get rid of some of the stuff that they no longer use. And so, well, I want to show you some of the stuff that we're going to be donating or giving away that we no longer use. I'm like, cool, let me see. What you got? What you got? Lo and behold, they had a heat press. Lo and behold, they had a heat press. So I took a picture of the heat press, sent it over to my friend, let him know, hey, you ask and you shall receive. Everybody put in the comments below, ask and receive. You ask and you shall receive. This particular individual had set something up for themselves. And here's what I want to do. They thought about, well, here's what I'm going to need in order to do it. And they weren't afraid to ask if they could get any assistance or find some of the stuff that they might have been looking for. 24 hours later, we've come across an opportunity for her to get exactly what it is that she asked for. Isn't that interesting? I find that very interesting. Here's some of the stuff that happens in life when we set the sail, when we set the destination for what it is that we want to accomplish. Now, as we talk about tonight, the 21 turn up, we're going to get, I'm going to really get into pretty much into stocks, but I want you to understand that there's a parallel to what we'll be talking about with money to also how you can operate in any area of your life. As I began to kind of start talking about this, I was saying to myself that there's a certain process or certain thought process that I go through as it relates to looking for opportunities in the future. And lo and behold, very interesting that as I was thinking about this, and I was like, trying to think about how we're going to have this discussion tonight, and I actually put a game up in our private group. They as I was setting up this broadcast, I came across an article that was mimicking exactly what I was going to do. And so I was like, wow, look at how the universe is working to help me to get to my destination, which is this particular broadcast here tonight. And so in our group, one of the things that I asked people to answer, if you are an investor, because we're going to start here, we're going to get into the money. If you are an investor, I'd love for you to share when you look at your portfolio up through the end of 2020, in 2020, what was your best performing investment? Like the best stock that you have in your portfolio, or the best, you might be in real estate, or you might be at whatever. What was your best investment, tangible investment, that you made in 2020? Right now, this is the same question because some of you guys may not necessarily be investing, quote unquote. You might not be in some market to invest, but you have used your money this year, hopefully in a space where it brings you some type of return. So you can still answer that question, even if you have not invested or you're not an investor yet. You can still answer because you have used your money in order to bring some type of value of return back into your life. What was your best investment that you made in 2020? This is your money coming out of your hand to go and acquire something that will then bring back a return of greater value into your storehouse, into your life. What was your best investment that you made in 2020? Take a little sip of the pineapple, non-bubbly. It's not bubbly, it's wine, by the way. That's right, man. Closer still. Closer than you think. You are closer than you think to your dreams and your goals being accomplished. You are closer than you think. Yeah, I am closer. It might feel like it's so far away, but you are closer than you think. Ask and you shall receive. That's right. Ask and receive. Ask and you shall receive. This stuff is serious, right? What was your best investment that you made in 2020, right? Best investment, will that be and I will say the best investment. Now, normally I'm gonna talk about it from two standpoints. I made one of my best investments was into e-commerce, right? E-commerce site. I because of that investment I made to have my own e-commerce store, as you saw with the Black Bazaar, that brought forth I had one of my biggest deals in business this year. That was a great investment, but I invested into the platform to be able to be found, and I was found and worked out the deals of the detail, and boom, I had one of the best. I had one of the biggest deal of my business was in 2020. As it relates to my portfolio, I would say my best investment was actually Square. I invested in Square, brought me back my greatest return in 2020. So I'm looking at it from just a life standpoint and also money, investment standpoint. As I said, there are parallels to what we'll be discussing tonight. Ms. Vivian said my best investment was in Amazon. Tanisha, man, in her business, right? She's been investing in her business. Ms. Yvette said, man, my own business making money in 2020. Making my own money in 2020. Said that no doubt it is one you suggested in March at the beginning of the pandemic. To the third power. Thank you, man. My pleasure. Best investment in stocks. I don't know which one. I done made a lot of suggestions, but yes, hopefully, I'm glad it worked out for you. Mary Kay Beauty Consultant. So her best investment in 2020 is become a Mary Kay Beauty Consultant. I can see that, Ms. Glenda Tate, right? BBC Group Economics. Now, on the other side of the scale, also what you think about McKinney? We got the pros and the cons. We got the good and the bad. What was your worst investment in 2020? What was your worst performing stock? What was the dumbest decision that you made with money this year? That you're leaving behind in 2020, right? Where's the space where you just realized you wasted a whole bunch of money getting nothing in return? This is where money has left your hand, right? Now it might have left your hand, for the sake of bringing some value back in return, but you didn't get any value back in return, so it ended up being your worst investment in 2020. What was that for you? Your worst investment that you made in 2020. What was your worst investment? Your worst performing stock? The one you still chewing on, thinking about, like, how did I make that decision? Paying some stupid tax. Right? What was your worst investment? Right? That you made in 2020. We look at it from both sides of the perspective, the best and the worst. Man, here I did good. That was a great decision. Yes. Oh, here's what we didn't do so well. Oh, we gotta make sure we won't make that same mistake in 2021, right? Tanisha said, man, bless you, Evan. God bless. I wish you many more blessings. Absolutely, they coming my way. God is faithful. Absolutely. Kayawa, she said, I purchased land. Happy New Year to you. You got you some land. That's what I'm talking about. You are a landowner. Fantastic. Absolutely. Absolutely. Best, worst investment in 2021. Viva Reed said, man, my worst was in McDonald's. I invested in McDonald's. I don't know why, but that's my worst. So for me, I would say my worst investment from my portfolio, I didn't even think about it. From my portfolio, actually probably is cannabis. Yeah, my cannabis stocks just did not. They were underwhelming. They did not perform well. That was probably some of the worst decisions. I mean, I'm still looking at that thing like hope and praying in 2021 and turn around like, ooh, now I didn't invest a whole lot. But yeah, all of my cannabis stocks, they just did not, for all the hype and for all of the stuff that as far as the passing of laws and stuff like that, whoo, it was a struggle bus over there on the cannabis side. I would say, what would I say for my life? Worst investment in 2020. That's a good question. It makes you think a little bit. Where did I spend some stupid money? Like it was dumb. Why did I spend that money? I'm gonna have to think about that. So I can tell you in business, my worst investment in business, I made quite a few decisions. Like I bought the fanny packs, thinking that the cargo fanny packs that didn't sell, nobody bought. I bought some. I invested in some. I thought they were pretty cool. I bought some little BB guns. No one touched those. I never sold any of those. I made some pretty. It wasn't huge investments, but I bought some stuff that people just did not. It just was not a. It was not a hit at all. It's just not a hit at all. Right. So So that was some bad. I didn't really do a lot of traveling this year, obviously. But yeah, your worst investment, when you if you can't look back over your year, like here's where it just was not a good thing for me when it comes to this thing called money. Right now, the reason why we look at best and worst, we look at good and bad, is so that we can recognize, right? We want to recognize. Everybody putting comments on recognize. We want to recognize our good habits. We want to recognize the good things that we do. We want to appreciate those things, right? We want to celebrate those things, right? And then we want, from the other side, we want to learn from our mistakes. Like, okay, I made that mistakes. I own it. First, we got to own it. Got to own our mistake. Right, and it may not necessarily have been a mistake at the time, but when you look back over it, it was a dumb decision, or it just didn't work out the way you had anticipated, or you didn't do enough research, or whatever the case may be. You start to look at, well, why did this not go well? Right? Whether it was doomed, some stuff we do is doomed from the start. How many guys have done stuff for this year, and when you started it, you knew it wasn't a good idea. You probably said yes to something you should have said no to. You knew it was doomed to fail, but you participated anyway. Right, and it just did what you expected it to do, and you're like, "Yep, I knew that was going to happen." But you went through the process anyway. Many times we do that, right? Many times we do that. Chronic Killer Product, that's your best, or hopefully that's your best. Hope you ain't saying that. Hey, my worst investment in stocks is buying some cheap penny stocks. Look at that. Bad time to be buying some cheap penny stock. I mean, I guess it depends on that which it is, but the thing about penny stocks, man, especially during a time like this, is they are the small. They have the most. They're the riskiest investments because they can quickly fold if they don't have big pockets to make it through the storm. Everyone invested in cannabis, yeah, and it may not be that it's just a bad investment for now. It may turn around in the future. I'm still holding on to it. I don't have much invested in it, but it still performed the worst, even though I have very little capital in cannabis. I really do. Maybe because it's a good idea now. Man, I might need to get out there and start selling something, man. You got to recognize and learn. Hey, I have jewelry, but I don't have no sales because people are not buying them. Yeah, I invested in jewelry. People didn't buy no jewelry from me. I made investments in stocks using common sense, but I know that it's not enough. Common sense it helps you get started. that puts you into the space of understanding, but now you got to go to a place of enlightenment by doing a little bit more research. But common sense is a great place to start. Worst was the illustrator. Oh man, I remember when I wrote my book, I had my editor was the worst. I invested that money in that editor, and that did not come out. It did not come out well. I ended up editing my own book. They had to get my mama to edit my book. I was like, look at this, and I paid it. I could have just paid my mama. I should have just paid my mama. Hey, Super Life app, worst investment. Super Life app. I don't know what it is, but worst investment. Okay. All right. You invested that thing in something I guess you don't use or something. I'm not quite sure. So this is the money turn up, man. We're talking about, we're moving into, okay, well, how do I get to a space where my money begins to turn up in 2021? Right. And it begins with me psychologically saying, in order for my money to turn up, I have to internally turn up. In order for my money to change directions or turn directions, I must change directions and turn directions. And how do I do that? Well, first I got to know where I'm going, right? Or where I want to go, right? And then I got to know where I'm headed. Where am I headed now? Am I headed in the right direction? Am I going down the right path? Am I going towards that place which I say I want to be? Here's where I find to be many problems. Many times people have a space that they say that they want to be, but then when you look at their life, their lifestyle, it is moving nowhere towards where they say that they want to be. Now, of course, that's not something that just turns overnight, but you can change direction overnight, but it's going to take a while to get to that new destination. And so as you think about whatever that is that you want to do or accomplish, if you look at your current trend of where it is that you are destined, where it is that you're headed, we would look at your life right now, as it relates to your habits, your spending habits, the things that you do on a day-to-day basis, would your life tell us that that's the direction that you are headed? Would the habits that you display on a day-to-day basis tell the world, no matter whether I knew you or not, like this is the direction that this person is going? Do your habits verify or validate your words? Oh, we get into something tonight. Oh my goodness. Y'all may hit that like button, share button tonight. Do your habits, are they congruent? Are they in step? Are they in line? Do they match the words that come out of your mouth? Now, how many guys know you got a lot of people who can talk a good game, but when you look at their life, it don't look nothing like what they talk about. We see it a whole lot on social media. Right? Posting all the pictures of where it is that you say that you are, but then when you look at your life, that's not where you are. Right? Are your habits on a day-to-day basis, are they congruent? Do they align with what you say you want to do? So for example, right? This is something I had to think about because for a while, I'm gonna tell you guys in business for a while, I really wanted this retail store for some reason. I was like, man, I was just thinking of a space where I could have a space for people to come and display stuff and display. That was the thing, like for 2 years ago. But I never moved on it because that wasn't my true desire. That was just like a want. It was like, and it wasn't really a want for me. It was a want for other people. How many guys have a want and it was for other people? Let me give you an example of what I mean by that. So tonight, when I got my wine together, I was looking for a cup. This is a very simple example of how some of us live our lives. I was looking for a cup. I was like, man, I got to find me a wine glass, right? I got wine glass. I'll be on TV. I got to have a wine glass. But when I went to the cabinet, either all the glasses were different, right? I had the little short glass that I normally drink my cognac out of. I had the little long, skinny glass that normally used for like mimosas or something like that. But I couldn't find what I was looking for, which was like a regular wine glass, right? That wasn't that was kingly, right? It had to be kingly. And then when I was thinking about this, I was like, I found this cup. I said, I'm just going to use this cup. I said, well, what are people going to think about if I use this cup? Because wine's supposed to be in a glass. Then I had to check myself. Everybody put in the console, check myself. I had to check myself. Because I said, why am I worried about what other people are going to think about me drinking out of a goblet when I'm the one that's wanting to enjoy my wine. I was literally thinking about what other people were going to think about with me not having a quote unquote wine glass, when it's me that I want that need to be enjoying my drink. So I said, why? So I had to check myself. And I said, man, let me go pour this thing in this cup, what I got, and then what we're going to go with tonight. Cheers to you. See, sometimes you got to check yourself. The things that you think about, what other people are thinking about, can really cause you to procrastinate or stop moving towards that which it is you say that you want. Because you're concerned about what other people are thinking when you don't know what they're thinking. But you see how silly that is? I was just thinking about this glass or this cup and what other people are going to be thinking about, what I'm going to be drinking out of when it comes to the wine that I want to enjoy for myself. Isn't that crazy? To me, that's crazy. But this is how many of us are when it comes to our goals, our dreams, our aspirations, the things we say we want to accomplish. Right? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But yeah, that's right. That's right, man. That's what I was thinking about. I was thinking about etiquette and all this. It's proper etiquette to drink when you go to the fair. But guess what? I'm in the comfort of my humble abode. I can drink out of what I want to drink out of. Who run this? Right? But I was just sharing that with you because many of us, this is where we get stuck. We get stuck mentally, thinking about what other people are thinking about, which stifles us from moving towards that which it is we say that we want to accomplish. Thinking about what other people are thinking about. Somebody said, I want to invest in paparazzi for someone else, but never found someone that wanted it for themselves as I did. Look at that, man. But I never found someone that wanted it for themselves as much as I did. Isn't that interesting? So the 2021 Money Turn Up is all about you begin by assessing where you've been. Number one, did you set a goal in 2020 that you want to accomplish, a financial goal? 2, did you accomplish that goal? 3, if not, why not? That's looking back, right? It's looking back. Okay, here's what I said I wanted to do. I said it. Did I track towards accomplishing it? Did I get it done? Everybody put in console, get it done. Did I get it done? Did you get it done? Now, there's a lot of things that we can use. We can use a whole bunch of reasons. I call them excuses as to why we didn't accomplish what we wanted to accomplish. But you can only really come up with a reason once you have assessed why it did not get accomplished. And 9 times out of 10, the why it did not, if it did not, or the why that it did, if it did, all comes back to you. It got done because I wanted to get it done, and I made it happen. It didn't get done. I slacked off. I let a few months go by, right? I found a way not to get it done. And here's what I found. You're either going to find a way to get it done or find a way to not get it done. And that not getting it done typically comes in the form of procrastination. We put other things in priority over that which it is that we said we wanted to do. Now, there's a lot of things that's going to come up on your journey, on your way towards accomplishing what it is that you want to accomplish. Right? And there's a lot of things that's going to come in the way. And those things can become temporary setbacks, but they don't have to become permanent. They don't have to become permanent obstacles. You see, a lot of people that still get it done no matter what. Everybody putting console no matter what. They get it done no matter what. Okay, the children at home, I got to work from home and watch the kids and get them. I got to become teacher and mom at the same time, but I still got this goal over here. I'm going to accomplish it no matter what. I'll still find time to accomplish what I want to accomplish. Because why? Because I want to accomplish it. So I get it done. I make it happen. Yeah, I had to rearrange some things, and yeah, life got interrupted, and things aren't the way they used to be, but so what? I don't want them to be the way they used to be, because if they stay the way that they used to be, I'll never get to where I want to get to. Think about that for a second. If things stay the way that they used to be, that also would mean that you are going to stay the way that you used to be. And if the way that you used to be is not getting the stuff done that you say that you want to get done, then if it stays the way that it used to be, you staying the way that it used to be, it's going to keep things not progressing the way that you want them to progress, because you are still the same person that you used to be. So you got to be happy for change. Everybody putting down so happy for change. I got to be happy for change because that means that I've changed. And hopefully if I've changed, I've gotten better. And if I've gotten better, hopefully along with that, me getting better, things got better. So I got to be happy for change because that means that I can actually get better. I can evolve, become a better person, do better things, make smarter decisions. Right? I got to be happy for change. Now, very interesting, in 2020, I would say, was one of the greatest years for income that I had. It was a better year income-wise than in 2019. 2020 was a better year for me from a financial standpoint than 2019. And I believe that 2021 is going to be even a better year than for 2020. That's why we're talking about the 2021 money turn-up. So first you got to reassess. You have to assess. You have to look at. You have to look over. You have to review. You got to review your year, 2020. Things that were good, things that were bad. Have a little powwow. Reminisce over your experiences, your habits, and things that you went through. Things that you set up for yourself. Things that you said you were going to do. Things that happened that you did not expect to happen. That was good. And because when it rains, it pours. It can do that on both sides of the coin. That's some great things happen in your life in 2020. But then we say, okay, well, we got through 2020. Now I need to, look at where I am. So you look at where you've been. Now you begin to look at where you are. Now you begin to look at, okay, well, my current state of affairs. If I keep going down this path that I'm currently on, where will it end? And the place that it's directed to end, that it's going towards, is that the place that I want it to be? For example, as I was talking about, the retail spot, I realized that my life, my business life, that's not the direction that I was going. The direction I was going was more towards mobile service, some type of Uber for myself, for my business, my own Uber business, not Uber itself, but delivering my own products through my freight or my fleet of services to my customers. I was getting more wholesale customers and retail customers. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, wait a second, I'm saying that I want this over here, but that's not the direction that my business and or my life is going. So something was not aligned. But I can only recognize that I'm out of alignment in the present. Here's where we want to go, but here's the direction that we're really going. One of those has to change, right? Either I'm going to change direction to get in line with where I said that I want to go, or I'm going to change where I said that I want to go to get in line to where I'm headed. I want to say that again because sometimes we feel like we have to change this part. No, you can change either one. If this is where I thought and said I wanted to go, but here's where I was headed. They were both good places. It's just a difference. So I had to make a decision to get in alignment. The universe is going to be very difficult for the universe to really help me if I'm out of alignment, because a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, right? So it's hard for me. It's hard for me to allow the universe to really get behind me and help me get to where I want to go if the universe is confused. Like, wait a second, you said this, but you're doing this. You're confusing the spirits. Okay. But so in the present, I have to decide, okay, am I going to change where I'm headed, turn and start coming over here, or am I going to change my destination and bring it to where I'm headed? In this particular case, I decided to change my destination because when I looked at where I was headed, I'm headed towards big box. I'm headed towards warehouse. I'm headed towards big semis, delivering stuff. That's where I'm headed. So I had to make that decision. Which one is it that which one did I really want? Which one did I really want to go towards? And so I made a decision to go towards where I was already headed. And here's the beautiful thing about this, because many people don't talk about this side of the coin, to change to where I'm already headed. Because I changed this over to come over here, right? Now it makes the decisions easier to make. Like, no, I'm not doing that. That's not what I really want, right? Because now I'm in alignment with where I said that I want, where I want to go and where I'm headed. And that's what I want you to think about. Where is it that you want to go? Where is it that you want to be? What is it you want to accomplish? Whatever. And are you aligned going towards that direction? If you look at your day-to-day life, if you look at how you operate, are you willing to change that to get to where you say you want to go? Or do you need to change where you said you want to go because that's not the truth that's in your heart? Well, that's not the truth of your habitual nature. I want us to all understand that the habits that you have in life, however it is that you operate, that is leading you somewhere. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure we got a lot of moms here. Glenda Tate, Miss Amanda, Miss Vivian, Miss Yvette. They probably all got children of some sort. You've watched their lives. And you could tell where they were headed until they decided to change at some point in time. Some of you guys might have had some knuckleheads. You watched them be knuckleheads long enough to get to the point where they got into enough trouble that they finally decided, okay, I'm gonna stop being a knucklehead. Or vice versa. You had, one of the, you had to. I mean, I'm just thinking about now. I'm thinking about all my classmates that I watched over the years. They watched me, and they could probably say, "Yeah, we pretty much knew that this is who Evan was going to be back when we was in high school or something like that, right?" And I can say that about some of them. Yeah, I pretty much knew that this is who you're going to be when I think about who you were back in high school. I pretty much knew you was going to be this type of person. I might not know what you was going to be doing as it relates to what you decide to do with a career or whatever the case may be. Some of that stuff is predictable. Some of it is not. But I knew who you were as a person. Now, there's some people that you know back from your high school days, or if you look back over your life, you say, yeah, I knew, but you're not the same person that you were that I knew back then. They changed their whole life, turned their whole life around. They're not the same person. For good or for bad. There's some people that was on the road, fast track to success, and now they're in the dumps. You look, now you're not the same person that you used to be. You used to be ambitious. You used to have all this drive and fire. So it works both ways. Works both ways. When you think about where your where your habitual nature is leading you to, and we can just talk about money tonight. When you think about your habitual nature when it comes to money, is it leading you to wealth or is it leading you to poor? How you operate with your money. Is it leading you to a place of wealth or is it leading you to a place of poverty? This is a very tough thing for people to really just sit back and just answer truthfully for themselves. Well, how I handle money, is it doing me more good or doing me more harm when I look at the eventual place that it'll bring me to over time? Now, if I look at that and I say, man, if I keep doing what I'm doing, I'm going to be rich. I'm going to be wealthy. I'm going to be well off. If I just keep doing what I'm doing as it relates to how I manage my money, I am going to be wealthy. It's just a matter of time. Or you can say, well, if I keep doing what I've been doing with how I'm handling or managing money, it's not going to turn out well. I may not necessarily be super broke, but I might just barely be making it. And for many of us, you could be at a point in your life where you say, I'm tired of barely making it. I'm tired of barely just getting by. Right? What did you think? This is one of my high school classmates, by the way, Miss Amanda Hollingsworth. What I think I was going, you know what, Amanda? Again, I don't think when I say this, I don't say necessarily what you was going to be, but who you were as it relates to who you are now. It's pretty much the same. It's a little different, but it's pretty much the same. Still, you're still a little you're still a bundle of joy. Still a bundle of joy. Still positive in spirit. Still that. Right now, obviously, you've probably been through enough stuff in life over the years, but the essence of who you were when I knew you in high school to who I know you now to be as a grown Black woman is pretty much the same. You're like, yep, that's Amanda. But it was always something that it was always a move towards like success in some way, right? And now I think I'm starting to see you blossom again in a whole new space, since I've known you over this past year, like knowing you better as we've gotten older. Hey, read how I thought about myself in the past led to my harm. Oh man, that's right. Yep, that's where I'm headed now. If I keep doing what I'm doing with money, I'll be on the street. If I keep doing what I'm doing with money, I'll be on the streets, right? I need more work in handling my money, but made small steps for the better. Absolutely. Now, again, this is a very difficult question for many people to answer. And I'm not asking you to answer it for me. I'm asking you to answer it for yourself. Yeah, whether you type in it or not. I really want to think about it. If I look back over 2020, I look at where I'm currently at and how I'm at, even through the pandemic. I don't care because the one thing we can't change is the circumstances on the outside. We went through a pandemic this year. We may not go through a pandemic next year. We didn't go through a pandemic the year before. So if we look at every year, if we still find ourselves in the same financial situation, we can't blame it on the pandemic, right? We can't blame it on that because what happened in 2019, you found something else to blame, and then 2018 found something else to blame, and 2017 found something else to blame. No. That's circumstance. That's not something we can control. So we don't put our faith in things that we can't control. Put our faith in ourselves that we will do what we can with what we got. We will control what we can control, and we'll leave the rest to God, right? I'll control what I can control, and I'm going to leave the rest to God. How's that sound for a whole philosophy when it comes to life? I'm going to focus on what I can control, and I'm going to leave the rest to God. All right? I'm going to get in alignment, make sure that where it says where I want to go, and as I look at my trajectory of my habitual nature, I'm headed towards that direction. If I can say that those are in step, I'm good to go because now I know the whole universe has been waiting on me to align myself so it can help me get to help me get to that which is I say I want to do. So we look at the past, we review that, right? And then we have a real hard, tough discussion about the current state of affairs in our life, right? We have it's called a reality check. Everybody putting guns on reality check. We ain't got to the space where you're hoping and wishing and praying and all that stuff. That's great. You can do all that. But we got to get to the space we call truth. Here is the reality of my current situation. And as I assess my current state of affairs, if I continue doing what I've been doing, it's either leading me to wealth or poverty, one of the two. Now, some of us like to call this thing called middle class. There really is no middle class. You're either going towards wealth or you're going towards poverty. Going towards rich or going towards broke. One of the two. Now but you can answer that for yourself when you start looking at how you have been handling or managing the money that's coming to your hand. We ain't even got to the good stuff yet. Now, once you do that, you took care of the past, you take care of the present. Now, you're in a space where you can begin to have clarity in your life, where you can really cast future judgment with clarity, like with clearness. You can really, you're clear enough in your state of affairs of the present that you can begin to really look to the future with unclouded judgment. You say, man, okay, now here's where I'm going, and it's clear now. Because you know why? Because I've taken care of all of the clutter. The clutter was the past, the unresolved past. That's the clutter in your mind, in your spirit, the unresolved past, the debts that still need to be paid, and you know what I'm saying, the dumb decisions that we made when it comes to buying something we couldn't afford and all that stuff. All that stuff is the clutter that's in the past that's causing us to be unresolved, to be clear as it comes to the future. You understand what I'm saying? So now we can begin to look at the future. What does the future look like? Is the future bright? And it surely is bright if you have a space that you want to go and you hell-bent on getting there. That's a bright future. You would say the same thing if you're talking to your children. Man, they got a place that they know where they want to go. They got a sense of direction. A sense of direction. Direction and destination. Now, how can we use this when it comes to this thing called money. Because I said we're parallels here. How can we use this as relates to this thing called money? So in 2020, I just asked you guys about your best investments, worst investments. There were we can review. We're gonna start with a review of 2020. What happened in 2020? What good happened in 2020? What bad happened? We're gonna do the same thing. The review. What happened? How did things perform? In the comments below, I'd like for you to think about your 2020, the economy, right? Where money flows, right? In the comments below, name something that did well in 2021 as it relates to money, as it relates to income, as it relates to profits, something that you believe did very well in 2021. Note that in the comments below, saying, hey, here's something I believe. Now, whether you're right or wrong, it doesn't matter. But it's something that you live in life long enough, you begin to be able to look at stuff and say, you know what, they probably did pretty dang on good in 2020. 2020 was a good year for them. Right? I've seen them grow. Right? Now that should be easy for you if you are an investor, because you've already seen in your portfolio some things that have done well. Right? Hey, my cookbook, that's what I'm talking about, my cookbook. That must be Tiffany. Tiffany got her cookbook out, said my cookbook did very well in 2020. Very well. My cookbook did very well in 2020. It did very well in 2020. That's a damn good cookbook. Anybody else? As you review your 2020 in life, whether it's something that you did or something that you saw happen in life, here's something that did very well as it relates to money. So it did very well. Did the profits off the chain, right? It did very well when it comes to money. Then Marie said China. China should have did very well when it comes to money. Now, of course, I talk about stocks. And we'll get into that. Some stocks or some sectors that did well. Some winners and some losers from 2020. And then we'll look at, okay, now that we know that, how can we assess that? So here's what we're going to do. While you guys are still thinking about what did well, I'm going to come over to my handy dandy Cash Apps investing platform, and I'm gonna do some research for us. Now, this is for the year. I'm going to select some a little screen that says what companies did well. These are individual companies. I'm gonna read some of them off. So I did 50% or better. These companies did 50% or better in the past year. 50% or higher in the past year. Now, it's a lot of different companies. I'll name off some of them for you, okay? They had a greater than 50% return or 50% appreciation of in their portfolio over the past year. Tesla did well in 2020. Over 720% growth in 2020. Tesla over the past year. Apple 76%. Amazon 71% over the past year. Company called NIO 1,200% growth in the past year. Let's keep going. Advanced Micro Devices 87% growth in the past year, right? You got Moderna, NVIDIA, Zoom, 391% in the past year. Square, 241% the past year. Baidu, Peloton, which I think is exercise equipment, 410% growth over 2020. Netflix, 74%. PayPal, 112%. This is growth. This is things that did well in 2020. Roku, Shopify, Plantar Technologies, Pinduoduo, CrowdStrike, C3i, Slack, Xpeng, Qualcomm, Plug Power, Snap, Uber, 65% growth in 2020. All right, DocuSign, JD.com, FedEx, 67% for FedEx. DraftKings, for those that's into fantasy football, 336% growth in 2020. Arc Innovation, 147%. ServiceNow, Zscaler, Lamb, Twitter, 68% growth in 2020. Trade Desk, 195% growth. Activision, Pinterest, Lemonade, Spotify, 107% growth in 2020. Teladoc, Etsy, Chewy, Okta, Coupa, Palo Alto. I keep going on. So many. It's about 149 that came up in this search, right? And as I review these companies that did well, here's what I'm asking myself. I'm asking as I assess this for what we just did, review, right? And then I would say right now we do probably recall. I'm like, what's going on now, right? And then my projection for my forecast for the future. So I would ask myself, of these companies that did extremely well in 2020, which one of these companies do I expect to continue to do well? Or are there some companies that I expect to fall back based upon my dealings with them, based upon what I know? Now, I don't know all 149 companies, so I wouldn't be assessing all 149. I'm only going to assess the ones that I'm familiar with. And then I might try to learn the other ones, but I don't try to step out and do it all for everything. I don't know everything. I just deal with what I know or what I think I know. So I say, hey, do I expect, what do I expect for Twitter? All right, Twitter is not a company I believe in long term. They floundered most of the time. They just recently had this breakout because of probably everything else broke out in technology. Is Twitter something I believe will continue to grow in value over time? I don't. So I would put that on my no list because I don't believe in Twitter. That doesn't mean that Twitter isn't something to believe in. It's just something that I don't believe in. So I wouldn't go that route with Twitter. Vivian Reed said China, right? China. If I ask myself right now, do I expect China to do as well in 2021 as they did in 2020? My answer would be no. For right now. Why? Because when I assess the current state of affairs, there's a lot of talk about delisting and stuff like that, as they either need to become compatible with how the United States wants to monitor their stocks, or they're gonna be, they're threatening to take them off of these stock exchanges. So right now, China is not in tariffs and the tariffs and all that stuff. Right now, I would say no, but when a new regime comes in, I'm waiting to see if they're going to have some type of trade agreement where they're not going to tax China like they've been taxing China over the past 2 years. And if so, then that changes things. If Biden comes in, he says, "Hey, you're gonna let China off the hook. We're not gonna make America great again. We're gonna make China great again." That's what they decide to do. Then my thought would change. But right now, I can't say, "Oh, I feel very comfortable about investing in China," right? And to continue. So I wouldn't necessarily be putting new money into there until I get some type of confirmation that, okay, it's safe, right? That's how I look at it. But I would go down all these different companies and start asking myself, how do I feel about their future progress? Do I believe in a FedEx moving forward, or was their growth just due to the pandemic? And things will go back to what they were normal before the pandemic, right? Amazon, is Amazon? Do I believe in Amazon? Hell yeah, I believe in Amazon. Do I believe in Amazon? Yeah, I do. I think they're gonna keep on growing. Why? Now they got Amazon Fresh, right? Amazon Fresh being grocery store all over the place, as well. I'm gonna answer this question in just a second, right? So I would go through these. I just named a lot of them, but I go through them. I just say, how do I feel about their future projections? Now, I could be right, I could be wrong about them, but it's my money. So I got to feel a certain way about them, for me to put my money into them. That makes sense? But I'm saying this to say you can do the same thing with every other area of your life. Here's where we are. Is this the direction that we're going? How do I feel about that direction? If I don't, I got to change it. If I like where I'm going, I invest more into that space so I can get there sooner. Okay. Exercise equipment did well. Computer field, Zoom did well. Microsoft, Apple did well. Laptops and iPods did well. Absolutely. PayPal and Apple. Yeah, absolutely. Even with commerce being in full play, you don't see China. So as a long term, yes, but I'm specifically just talking about 2021. So because the reason why 2021 is so important and what happens in the beginning stages of 2021, it sets the tone for the next 4 years. So long term could be 4 years, long term could be 10 years, long term could be 20 years. I don't know what the time frame for your long term is as it relates to my long term. So I'm just sticking with 2021. So until I get some confirmation, that would cause my estimation of it to go from maybe a hold right now to like a strong buy or something like that, right? Right now, I'm not saying buy. For me, I'm not buying. I'm holding. I'm waiting. I'm waiting and see what's going to happen, and then I'll go in and buy. But the good thing about waiting is I can wait while it slides. It's sliding right now. Most of China stocks are sliding right now, so I can wait while they slide. Then when I get some confirmation that make me feel better about them, then I can invest for the long term, and then I could have bought low, and then later on, long term, why sell high, right? My goal is to buy something as low as I can. I mean, I like to buy stuff on sale. I mean, if it's already less expensive today than it was yesterday, and ain't nothing changed, I'm expecting it to be less expensive tomorrow, and I'll wait until until I feel like I get a good deal. You know, I'm a gambler. All right, so Amazon, Microsoft makes sense, cryptocurrency, right? So these things that did well, right, in 2020. Well, let's look at it from the other side of the coin. This will go down to our bad habits, the things that didn't go well, right? Same thing here. Okay, what in the markets didn't do well in 2020? What didn't do well? What had a hard, terrible time? They was on the struggle bus in 2020. These are companies, parts of the economy, life that we feel just did not do well. Just had a terrible time in 2020. Right? So I'm looking from the other side. So I'm gonna pull up. These are companies that lost more than 50% of their value in 2020. So first we looked at things that grew, that did extremely well. Now I'm looking at things that didn't do so well, right? And then I'm asking myself as I look at this, because this is how I do this. I'm asking myself, okay, which one of these is going to turn it around? Which one of these is, what of these is really has the opportunity to take off in 2021? They had a terrible time in 2020, but like I said, it gets better. What do I feel is like going to continue to do bad versus might have a turnaround, a comeback, a buy low opportunity, right? So here's some companies, only 13. So we had 149 on the list that said they did well. I didn't read all 149. That took too long. Then we got 13 on the bad list. 13. Only 13 came up. 149 came up that did well in 2020. Only 13 came up that did bad. First, we got Carnival. Carnival lost 50% of their value in 2020. They lost more than half of the value of their company. United Continental, right? That's airlines, 51% down in 2020. Norwegian Cruise Lines down 57%. Occidental Petroleum, that's oil, down 59%. Aurora Cannabis down 66%. Marathon Oil down 51%. United States Oil Fund down 67%. Energy Transfer, which is crude oil, natural gas, down 54%. Momo, which is a mobile-based social networking service, down 62% in 2020. AMC Entertainment, movie theater, down 71% in 2020. Viasat, I don't know what that is. Technology Service 37, satellite services, satellite-based high-speed broadband consumer, they down 56%. Whiting Petroleum was down 95%. And Hertz, which got delisted in 2020, went through that the whole delisting process, was down 92%. 92% in 2020. So these are companies, publicly traded companies, through this Cash App investing platform. I was able to do a search to find top performing stocks, and I also did a search for bottom performing stocks. Now, as I look at these, it's very interesting. We got the cruise lines, which some of you guys have mentioned. I don't see any airlines other than, I do. United Continental was the airline. Airlines did pretty bad, travel period. We got cannabis. Cannabis was a sector that did bad in 2020. We got oil, which is a sector that did bad. And then we have a couple one-offs with Momo and AMC Entertainment, right? So I'd ask myself, okay, they did bad. They did terrible. I mean, they were the worst performing stocks in 2020. Do I expect any of them to bounce back? So let's look at AMC Entertainment. AMC Entertainment, a movie theater. Do I expect AMC to bounce back? No. Right now they're gonna be streaming. Streaming is the thing, right? Now when the movie comes out, it's gonna come out at the same time on the streaming platforms. So why would people go to the movies? Do I think people are gonna go back to the movies? Maybe some, but I think the movie industry has changed forever. And do I think AMC will recover? I don't. Not anytime soon. Unless they come out with an AMC online or something like that. I don't know. They probably do that. But I don't think they're going to be bouncing back, like a real bounce back. They might, and they might have a little bump. But I ain't believing it. I believe that industry has changed forever. Momo, which is a mobile-based social networking service, that sounds like that competes with Facebook. Do I believe that they're going to bounce back? No. I mean, you compete with Facebook. You got to be pretty. You got to be pretty damn good in order to pull that one off. Bad place. The firm establishes its users, expand social relationships based on location and interest. Yeah, but now Facebook probably already doing that. So, Facebook got a dating app. Dating is in Facebook now. I mean, Facebook got everything you might have been looking for in other apps. They got it now. So I don't know if you want to be over there competing. Do I think they're going to bounce back? No, I don't. That's not. Nah, I don't think that. I don't think so. So then we have oil, right? Oil is a very interesting. This is very strange because the new administration was talking about how they wanted to go to clean energy, which means, really divesting from oil. I don't know if they can really pull that off. So I'm in limbo with whether oil is going to really bounce back. We're talking about 67% down. Now, the cool thing about oil is that I think it'll have a small bounce back because when and if travel opens back up, there's going to be more traveling. People are going to be taking more trips, going on more cruises, taking more flights, and that's going to be a bump in demand for gasoline or fuel, which should bode well for oil. So right along with airlines and cruise and all that stuff, got to be oil in that space some kind of way. Marijuana, cannabis. This is tricky too. What do I think about cannabis? Now again, the new administration, they're saying, legislation being passed that more states are becoming legal to sell cannabis medically and maybe recreationally. Then you have, as years go by, you're gonna have probably more states legalizing it. You had administration say they're gonna come in and exonerate people that had that didn't have anything to do with weapons or anything like that as relates to their crime when it comes to marijuana. Do I think when I think about 2021, do I really believe there's going to be a big pop for marijuana? I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. I'm not like 100% sure. I know what they say they're going to do, but how long is it going to take them to do it? And then we're talking about 2021 or we're talking about 2022, 2023, 2024. I'm specifically talking about just 2021 right now. Of course, you can set yourself up in positions in 2021 to benefit in the long term back, later on down 2023, 2024. But as I'm looking at top performing, worst performing for last year, I want to be in a space where I get into some top performing spaces for next year. You see what I'm saying? So this is all about belief. What do you believe? Do you think? I just don't know. I'm still limbo, so I'm holding on cannabis right now. I got small little positions of cannabis stuff. I ain't really too excited about it. I still ain't. I'm a believer long term, as brother Wichita Cheesecake Company said. Long term, I'm a believer. But I'm talking about that's like 5 years. The believer, maybe not next year believer. I don't know. Then we have, I guess, airline stocks. Airlines is down. How you guys feel about airlines? And then you got cruises. Now the cruise industry, I'm about it when it comes to the cruise industry. Okay, I think 2021. I think for me, for my betting money, I'm going with the cruises. Airlines, I'm not. I'm a believer in airlines, but not in the space where I'm investing in an airline company. I invest in the people who make the planes. I don't invest in the people that sell the tickets. I'm more investing into who makes the planes, because they got to get the planes from the people who make the planes. So they got to buy the plane regardless. And then how many people gonna get to come into the plane? That's on you. But you got the plane, lease the plane, whatever the case may be. So I'm more interested in investing in who makes the planes than who flies the planes. There's a difference. So, but I think there'll be a bounce. I think travel will pick back up. I believe with the vaccination coming out, with the new regime taking over, with the second wave hopefully coming to a close in the next 3 to 6 months, people start flying again, right? And then the cruise lines, I believe, come summer of 2021, I think the cruise industry is going to be packed. I think they're going to have to turn some people down. That's how I think about it. These people that cruise, these cruisers, these people, they serious. All these travel agents, these cruisers are like a serious. How many got anybody here that's a cruiser, like a lifelong cruiser? Like every year you go on a cruise, like that's your thing. Like that, like some people are serious about this cruise stuff. For real. They ain't really keen on flying as much. They fly because they got to, maybe because of business stuff like that. They got to get it. But when it comes, they be looking forward to, they buy their cruise 2 years in advance and going on a cruise and getting it for cheap. So I really believe in the cruise industry. That's where, when I say cruise, I'm not just talking about not just cruise, but resorts that they go to when they take their cruise. Where they gonna stay, accommodations, hospitality, that would be hotels, stuff like that. I think hotels are doing okay. I don't think they'll be gangbusters, but I think that they'll do well as travel picks up, right? As travel picks up, as cruises picks up, as airlines pick up, there's some things that's gonna coincide with that pickup. Oil's gonna pick up right along with it. Probably rental places that's at the airport and stuff like that. You got to rent a car, stuff like that. That's going to probably pick up. Airbnbs are probably going to pick up. This is all contingent on travel. Hotels, hospitality, that's going to pick up. Right? So this, for me, is the place to be for me. I don't know about for you. But for me, I'm like, yeah, I'm getting in while it's low. Now, for many of us, some of us that watched me last year, we got into the cruise industry when it was super low, and we feel pretty good about that. And we feel pretty good right now, even though it was down for the whole year. We got into the space where it was very low, and it might be down for the whole year, but we're still up. How many guys in that position? I just named some companies that were down for the whole year. You might actually be invested in some of those companies, but you're up. You feeling pretty good about your position. You're not down, even though it had a bad year for the whole year. You got into a place where it was already super low, and you doing all right in your investment. So, when you look at or you consider 2021 and all that you've experienced in 2020, and all the businesses that you have done business with, you've spent money with, you've given them a token of your appreciation and your money. As you look forward to 2021, what are some spaces that you feel will either continue to do well, or you're like, man, yeah, they about to do numbers. they about to kick it. They about to do numbers. Right? Now, this is just a list of the worst performing. I did 50%. I could go down. If I went down to 40%, I'd probably find more. But, you know, that'd be probably too much to cover in a short amount of time. But, yeah, you start to see some banks, some oil companies, a lot of oil companies, the same industries. Okay, same industries. Hey, once a large number of people take the vaccine, many of the affected industries will start a new normal. How they operate, how they do business? Yeah, absolutely. I believe so. When I can't cruise as much as I like, I love cruises. All right, man. Solar, look at it. Solar energy would probably make a better investment. And the thing about that, Miss Vivian, it all comes down to, will they do what they said they're going to do? And that's the problem with politics. Like right now, they said they were going to do it, but then when they get in office, will they really do it? And I think that this election that's taking place, this runoff election that's taking place in Georgia, which probably is not going to turn, is going to be the hurdle or the obstacle for whether they can actually do what they said they want to do. Because sometimes you might want to do what you really said you want. You might really want to do what you said you want to do, but it's contingent upon other people. This is why I don't really like making goals that are contingent upon other people, because they might not do what I need them to do for me to be able to do what I say I want to do. So it's a lot easier for me to just, let the buck stop with me and make a personal financial goal that I can hold myself accountable to, than trying to make a dual goal where now I have to hold someone else accountable for us to accomplish this goal together. Now, it's great to have couple goals and marriage goals and stuff like that, but I'm particularly talking about when you're trying to wait on something else for you to be able to do what you said you want to do. That's not a good position to be in. How many guys hate waiting like that? Like I don't mind. I'm a very patient man, but I hate waiting on other people when it comes to me getting done what I want to get done. And it's contingent upon somebody else that might be slacking, might not want it as much, might not care as much. I don't know. So this thing, I think, is contingent upon this election. If this runoff that's happening in Georgia, if it turns, then it'll be a lot easier for the new regime to come in and actually do what they said that they were going to do before they got elected. If it doesn't turn, it's going to be very difficult for them to do some of the things that they say they want to do, because now they're fighting against their own house, which would be the Senate. Okay. All right. So EV, you know what? Why do I keep not knowing? I know in my mind, I know what EV is, but when I keep seeing it, I'm like, what does that stand for? What does EV stand for, Brother Aaron? Electronic vehicles? I don't know. I think that's what I'm saying. What's up, Willie Tees, man, is in the house, man. What's up, Willie? I ain't seen you, man. How you been doing, man? You all right? Oh, man, good to see you, man. Anybody who makes masks and gloves, not only will these things be in the hospital, we see it from barbershops and football teams. I got Uline 3. I'm looking for more. This is interesting. Anyone who makes masks and gloves, so you're saying you feel like they're going to continue to do well in 2021. See, I don't think so. Well, let me say this. It depends, right? If we're talking about 3M, like you said, 3M, they're doing well, but they're not necessarily kicking ass. You know what I'm saying? They're not really necessarily. We'll take a look at it just to say, we'll take a look at 3M, by the way, tonight. Because again, you would think, man, they're knocking it out of the park. They up, their value is up, like super great, right? You would think, right? Because matter of fact, let me see here if I can look at it on here. Because of people wearing masks and gloves, right? So I'm gonna look at 3M real quick. 3M for the year, Willie, for the year. Last year, 3M, they only grew, they're down 3% for the year. They're down 3%. So all of these 3M masks got bought. They're probably being sold all over the place, but it's not reflecting in their stock price. They're down 3%. I find that very interesting. This is the same thing I'll be saying about cannabis stock. Like, wow, They're even though you would think that they're up big, they're actually down. And here's the difference between common sense, or what I would call Main Street, and Wall Street. Main Street common sense, we would think, man, that's a no-brainer. They're doing well. Everybody's got to wear them, right? But the problem is everybody don't have to wear them from 3M. The other big problem is everybody got them. So where 3M might be charged, the hospitals might have to buy the 3M one. They still looking to cut costs as well. So they might not buy the 3M version, which is $20-some-odd. They might go down and get another wholesale deal and be able to get them for $3, something like that. You see what I'm saying? So that's a big problem as well. And then I'm also compelled to believe that with the vaccine coming through, and restrictions being less restrictions coming down as they begin to open business. Once they begin to say, okay, we've made it the second wave, we're opening businesses back stuff like that. That's when people gonna be like, okay, it's cool for me not to have to necessarily go buy any more masks, buy any more Lysol, and stuff like that. They'll keep it. It's gonna still be around, but man, where they buying it from is a great question. And a lot of them are buying it from off the side of the street. They walk into the little store or whatever. Oh, I gotta have a mask on. I ain't got one. Okay, I get one for $1 right here. The little blue one. They got the little blue one. They put it on. So yeah, it's not reflecting. It's not reflecting. So I also think that it'll be, again, if we're talking about opening things, in my mind, for what I'm projecting, I'm not saying it's going to happen or not, but my belief is that we'll be back open by May. Once we get through cold February and March, I think once we get to spring break, it's going to be on and popping, baby. I'm talking about on and popping. All right, it's going to be a whole year. We're not going to be scared anymore. And matter of fact, they're going to say, man, we're not going to be scared anymore. It is what it is. If I got it, I got it. Ain't that how some people are right now? Matter of fact, my cousin just got diagnosed with COVID-19. Not a laughing matter, but he's saying, I got it. It is what it is. Isn't that how people are, though? Let's be honest. This is how people are. It is what it is. I mean, I can't, at this point in time, we've been dealing with stuff for a year. If I got it, I got it. Okay? We'll get through it. All right. So Tim's saying here, I don't like waiting to things like we got things to do. Electric vehicles, absolutely. So yeah, electric vehicle, man. So you're looking at obviously you're looking at Tesla, you're looking at NIO. You're probably looking at that C3 company, and also Apple just announced it might be coming out with iCar. So Apple is still in the game. It don't matter. Many companies sell these, absolutely. Most people are wearing masks from fabrics, not so much 3M. Absolutely, yep, I agree with that. Exactly. We used to have better quality PPE. Now we have cheap. Yeah, it's cheap. Medical industry is always looking for cheaper products, and now what they can get it. Absolutely. So, looking at what did bad, what did well, and what do we think will continue to do well from those things that did well, and you can correlate that to your life. What did you do well in 2020 that you want to continue to do in 2021? But on the same time, I think there's some parts of that say, okay, well, what did well in 2020 that we don't expect to do well? We don't expect them to continue to do as well in 2021. There's some things that turn. They did well because of the pandemic, not in spite of the pandemic. That's the difference. Right? Think about that for a second. It's because of and in spite of. Right? So there's some things that did well because of the pandemic. Technology did super well because of the pandemic. Zoom had monster numbers as it relates to signups because of the pandemic. But then you have some things that did well in spite of the pandemic. In other words, they might have been bumped up a little bit by the pandemic, but Amazon gonna keep doing well in spite of the pandemic. You see what I'm saying? I think that's a good way to decipher between those. What did well because of, and what did well in spite of. Same thing on the opposite side. What did bad because of? Because of the pandemic, they just simply, that was something they couldn't overcome. But there's some things that did bad in spite of. It didn't matter when the pandemic came. The pandemic just uncovered the holes that were in the sinking ship. They were already going down. They just got there a little early. Right? Before, but if the pandemic never came, they still would. It just would have took a little bit longer for them to get to that final destination, but they were already headed that way. Right? And the pandemic just showed up, said, okay, and the big bad wolf showed up and blew the house down. House made out of straw. One made out of bricks. He puffed and he bumped and he blew the house down. The big bad wolf, COVID-19 blew the house down. 3K blew up early. Market was saturated after Trump gave Uline contract with hospitals. Right now, software for cashless society is what I'm looking for. Okay, absolutely. Again, I don't know when 3M blew up, but I mean they had a recovery in the pandemic. We can see that, but I don't necessarily know about blowing up. I mean, at one point they were down 26%. So we're talking about the rise from down 26% to down up 20% since the pandemic. That's great. But they're just getting back to where they were. This is where 3M was trading before the pandemic. Now they're getting back to where they were trading. So if you ended up going into 3M when it dropped, and you said, okay, they're still a valuable company. I still see promise in their future, and they'll just get back to what they were. That's fine. But me personally, I'll be looking for stuff that ain't gonna just get back to where they were. I'll be looking for stuff that's gonna blow up. I want my money to turn up in 2021. I got to put my money in places that's going to turn up. Not just keep doing what they've been doing. Yeah, okay. Every department store that was hurt before died. Yeah, retail. Woo. Big Tech is getting your check getting mailed out. Who really needs to pay written bills? Okay. I think retail. Yeah, I agree with you guys. I don't know about retail. The retail spaces that have an online presence, maybe a Target, obviously Walmart. I think it's going to, do. I don't even know if they really need to bounce back. I haven't looked at Walmart stock, but I think they're what. But if they don't have an online presence, it'll be very difficult for them to make a strong comeback in 2021 when people are now accustomed to buying stuff through online. They can avoid the lines. They're willing to wait. Doesn't matter. Free shipping is a plus. You know what I'm saying? Then that's the question, brother Mark. I would wonder, right? Definitely made me reassess how to do everything in our business. I'm always trying to make sure we're not just making money one way. Man, we definitely, I'd definitely love to bring you on and discuss some of the things that you have had to change and modify as you run your business to stay afloat and to still thrive. I'm pretty sure y'all have had to make some adjustments along the way. Just keep on changing stuff, or how you deliver your deliverables and things like. I love to have that conversation, which I love for us to be able to hear. I got to take a little wine on that one. Then Willie T said, I sold more clothes than JCPenney. Oh, boy, you too funny, man. Oh, Lord, it's an AMD. Coming back the same, man. Yeah, I definitely love to have that conversation. Online retail is a new way. E-commerce, right? E-commerce. I think, again, get back to what you said earlier, Brother Mark. E-commerce, I think, is still going to be small businesses. If you are a small business and you really to have a lucrative, a sustainable, something that's not just making it. I'm talking about a thriving small business, and you don't have an online presence. What are you waiting? What are you doing? Right? And I don't care, because today I was impressed. I was very impressed. Went to go eat lunch with my mom, and she went. I was like, why we gotta go see some chitlins? You want to spend all that money on some chitlins. So it was baked chitlins, so we had to go to this restaurant. It's called This Is It. It's actually a black-owned restaurant. I was very impressed. I was inspired and impressed and inspired today by this company. So they got things set up, social distancing, ordering and stuff like that. It's a regular thing. You go through the line, you meet in your sides. Y'all been to a soul food restaurant before. Hopefully y'all been to a soul food restaurant before. But what impressed me was when I was in line, they had this little stand here that said, go scan this, which is like a QR code to get our menu. So the QR code, you scan it with your phone, and then you go to the menu. Then they had where you could order, you can call in and order, and then they'll bring the order out to your curbside. They got 6 different locations, so you could order, pay, and then tell them where you're going to be picking it up, because maybe you were going to a different location. I was very impressed with their online, the online experience for this restaurant. Now, we're not talking about what I do, which is e-commerce, just shipping stuff through the mail and stuff like that to get to people. We're talking about they still have an online presence for their brick and mortar store, which allows them to still have a thriving business where they got 6 different locations. The location that I was at, not only did they were they in the building, were they in the space, they owned the building. So the space where we went to eat was part of what they owned. The other part was like a banquet hall, and then the latter part was a beauty salon, which I believe someone is renting out. So this black man owned this whole strip, and one of the spaces within the strip that he owned was the restaurant that he built. And not only that, they had a top-notch online presence for their brick and mortar restaurant retail experience. That's the type of it. That's the level of that's the level I want to get to as a businessman, to be that cutting edge, that in the now, that in the present. They had TVs all over the, that you could watch while you stand in line. They had their whole history of where they started and where they are. It reminded me of going to Pascal's, where Herman J. Russell and them built Pascal's. And that's here in Atlanta as well. If you ever in Atlanta, go to Pascal's, you're going to get a whole bunch of history at the Pascal's restaurant. It reminded me of that. That's a business that Herman J. Russell, who basically a black man who built Atlanta, or built a major part of the city of Atlanta, or the metro Atlanta. That's one of his restaurants, right? The Russell family. I was impressed and inspired. I was like, this is it. It wasn't just, to me, it wasn't just the restaurant name. I was like, this is what I'm talking about, right? Tiffany, Tiffany here in Atlanta, this is what she said. So shout out to, and so now I got to do my research, because I don't know the brother's name. I was like, who is the man that owns it? I need to read up on him. I need to learn. I need to study this man. He's going to become my virtual mentor. Hopefully he not, I had another virtual mentor before. He ended up being a jerk when I finally met him. So maybe I don't want to meet him. I just want to follow his ways and not necessarily, hopefully I'll be able to meet him. I probably will find a way to meet him once I know who he is. They have multiple locations. They have mastered duplicating their formula where no matter which way you go to, the food flavor is still the same. Right, Chris? Check it out next time we visit. Absolutely. So there's 2 places to go if you come to Atlanta, by the way. This Is It, black-owned restaurant, got multiple locations here in Atlanta. And then also Pascal's, which is a higher-end type of restaurant, but it's, again, black-owned. All right. What am I talking about? So, again, if retail, for me, if you don't have a top-notch online experience, I believe it's going to be very difficult for you to thrive. Not just, you can probably survive. Surviving is good. I'm not about just surviving. I moved past that point in my life where I'm thankful for the survival, right? But I'm super duper happy for the thrive. And let me again, I'm grateful for the survive. but I'm super ecstatic for the thrive. How about you? I'm not going to look past, overlook, dismiss the survive. That's important, survival skills. But man, once you get past survive, you get into thrive. Woo! Lord, feel good. I knew that I would now. So good. So good. I got you. You see what I'm saying? You start feeling so good when you get to the thrive. Especially when you've been just surviving for so long. It feels like so long. But like I said earlier to you guys, I want you to remember this. Your space from survive to thrive, you're closer than you think. Everybody put in the console, I'm closer than I think. Yes, you are. In your progress, your progression from survive to thrive, I want you to know, as you move into 2021, you are closer than you think to thriving. You're closer than you think. Now, woo! All right, so what I want to do was I want to take a look at this article because there was an article that said that came out, and I was like, wow, this is actually, you went already. Where did you go? Did you go? Okay. Did you go to Pascal's? Yeah, I mean, am I right? I'm right on that. You probably remember that experience. It was a great experience, right? It was an article that came out. It was kind of mimicking what I just did on the Cash App. We're going to take a look at this article because I believe it's going to help us kind of discuss what we kind of just discussed. But they got it in their own words. Obviously, I got my hood words, but they got in a different space. Let me pull this up for you. And we'll go through this. So there's an article came out. Oh, by the way, the NASDAQ was basically flat. The market was flat today. Today was a great day. Today was a great day to buy. The reason why today was a great day to buy, because this is the day, yesterday and today were the day that people are actually settling their accounts, which means that they're getting out of positions that they want to settle. Whether they selling, they getting out of positions to recover from loss, or they're getting out of positions to recover from gain. They're basically settling their 2021 as they get 2020 as they get ready to do taxes on 2020. So everything, your gains are taxed. So there's a strategy sometimes to, okay, I need, we made enough money in this position, or we lost enough money in this position. There's strategy to that as well. So in the last days of a year, the market is actually flattered down. A lot of positions that not be down or down, giving you an opportunity to buy. Does that make sense to buy? There's a lot of selling that's going on last day of the month. That makes sense to buy. Right? And so the market, but there was some things that you could have taken advantage. I took advantage of today. Cryptocurrency, I want to take a look at this real quick. We talked about this yesterday. I'm not going to talk about this much tonight. But Bitcoin is trading at its all-time at that 29.4. It's getting close to $30 per coin. I've done a little preaching about Bitcoin way back 3 years ago. I put people on, whether they did it or not. But when you can go from $2,000 to $30,000, you start feeling pretty good about that investment. Over time, though, 3 years ago, back in 2017. But sometimes when you look at things over a period of time, you start to realize, okay, I was right about that. It just took a little longer than I thought. But I'm glad it's here. Anyway, closer than I think. You are closer than you think to thriving. You are closer than you think, man. That cookbook that you put together, Tiffany, man, got you. That took you was going like one step at a time. That cookbook just thrust you like 20 steps. You took a 20. You stopped doing one step for mankind. You did one large. You did stop doing one step for woman. You did a leap for womankind. You did a leap. You didn't take a step. That cookbook was like a leap. It was like a 20-step leap. That's what it did. It brought you closer than you thought. Angela Mitchell, Mary Kay, you're closer than you think to thrive. Absolutely, you're closer than you think. all the things that you did in 2020 that you put your hands to, the stuff that you actually began to work on a consistent basis, you're closer than you think. Here's the interesting thing about this concept of being closer than I think. You don't know when the harvest is coming. You don't know when the tree is ready, when it's going to be ready to harvest, when you're ready to pluck the fruit off the tree that you have been cultivating for quite some time. You just don't know when that fruit going to be ready. But that shouldn't stop you from going out and checking the tree. You're closer than you think, Brother Mar. I see you putting in all the work. I see you doing your fitness stuff on a regular basis with your queen. I see you continue to support businesses and shout them out as you have been doing. I see that you've done more with your online store, and there's some other stuff that I don't see. I can only tell you what I do see. I know that you're closer than you think. Monica, the stuff that I've seen from you over 2020. With working with your department in the political space. I've seen you putting in the energy for, I think it's like an inmate program or something like that. You talked about the illustrator that you had to go through that process of working with them and not working with them so you can get your stuff done. You've gone through these moments in 2020 that's brought you closer than you think. Ms. Glenda Tate Williams, the mere fact that you were putting together scheduling these times to be able to display your cosmetic prowess, and that you mentioned that your best investment that you made was becoming a Mary Kay consultant, which makes sense. That's aligned with where it seems that you are going. Clearly, you're closer than you think. See, the interesting thing is there are people in your life who can see you getting closer. They're watching you. Just like I routed off a few things that I've seen with my eyes for you, you probably can do the same thing for others, and especially for your children. And I want to encourage you to encourage them and let them know that they're closer than they think. Anyway, Bitcoin at 29,394. So anyway, let's take a look at this article, then we'll begin to wrap this thing up. I've been on longer than I thought, but nights like this, I wish raindrops would fall. Hey, so CNN Business had an article came out at 11:11 this morning. I just found it now. I don't even know how I clicked on it. I wasn't even looking for it, but it popped up and I said, whoa, what is this? So these are businesses that were surprise winners or losers in 2020. So we're going to take a look at these areas. The first one, they said the housing industry was a winner. Goes on to say that the housing market was red hot in 2020, defying the COVID-19 induced weakness in the broader economy. In fact, the pandemic is probably one of the main drivers of the housing market's strength. Prices and sales surged as city dwellers look to move to the suburbs and find larger spaces for at-home work, and schooling. Shares of these are some housing stocks: Lennar, DR Horton. As well as retail catering homeowners such as Home Depot, Lowe's, and Williams-Sonoma soared in 2020. Home Depot sales increased 18%, while Lowe's sales increased 23%. They give an outlook, say, hey, what they think is next for the housing market. The outlook for 2021 remains strong, in part due to the fact that mortgage rates are at a record low thanks to the Federal Reserve's 2020 rate cuts and plunging long-term bond yields. So as long as rates stay low, they expect people to continue to borrow in order to buy the house. So I agree with this. I think the housing market is going to remain strong in 2021 because it's going to be a while before before the Federal Reserve will have Mr. Powell, whoever, Janet Yellen, whoever's going to be over it, before they have the gall to tell the American people that they about to raise rates. They best to be damn sure we done with this pandemic. And I don't see them being able to raise rates all year, maybe till the fourth quarter of 2021. So what has been done will continue to probably be done, especially when people get their incomes back in order. Housing market still should, I believe, housing market still should continue to do well in 2021. What do you think? Think the housing market is going to continue to do well? Those are things. Those are some factors. I believe I can agree with this article or this portion of the article that relates to housing. What do you think? A loser, we talked about this, travel and hospitality. This lost big in 2020. We're doing a review. Going on vacation wasn't an option for most during the pandemic. The cruise industry was battered. Carnival, Royal Caribbean, Norwegian were forced to suspend voyages as much as 2021 and into 2021. All three stocks plummeted between 45 and 65% this year. The news wasn't much better for hotel chains, which were hammered by a decline in demand for both leisure and business travel. What's next? Based upon this article saying, hey, here's what we think is next. The industry is hoping for a rebound. I like that word, rebound. As cooped up would-be travelers look to hit the road in 2021 once vaccines are widely available. But it's not clear whether business travel, the lifeblood of the industry, will approach pre-pandemic levels at a time when video conferencing calls are working out just fine. So that's a good point. Like, business travel is a huge part of the travel industry. If they're deciding, you know what, we found a new way to do business, we don't have to send people and travel as much, might not have to do it. Adding insult to industry to the big hotels, Airbnb, I mentioned that, which would already turn the hospitality industry on its head, went on and went public in December. The home sharing platform is now worth about $90 billion, more than twice as much as Marriott and 3 times the market value of Hilton. So Airbnb is a disruption to the hotel industry. I am an investor in Airbnb. What are your thoughts about travel and hospitality? Do you believe in the rebound? Do you believe in the rebound? See, we're talking about getting your money, turning your money up. And the way that you're able to turn up your money in 2021 is to attach your money to things that will grow and bring value back in return for that which you have spent. Got to get some resolve, got to have some belief. Cannabis. Now, they say cannabis was a winner in 2020. So let's see what they're talking about. Marijuana is not legal on the federal level, but 4 more states approved cannabis use for recreational purposes on Election Day, making the drug legal in 13 states. The industry remains hopeful for a federal decriminalization of cannabis, which we just talked about during the Biden administration. They said they were going to do it. We'll see if they do it. Products containing CBD, which is extracted from hemp cannabis, is already legal in sales, also surged in 2020. All this helped drive pot stock Bonanza, shares of Canopy Growth, Cronos, backed by Constellation Brands and Altria, respectively, has soared since November. The stock of industry leader Curaleaf skyrocketed too, nearly doubling on the year. So they're talking about since November. We looked at for the whole year. They were down for the whole year. They maybe bounced back a little bit in the past 2 months. I still don't believe it. I'm still seeing it go down. What's next? They say, hey, well, there could be more consolidation in the industry in 2021 too, as companies look to combine following the December announcement that Tilray and Aphria were merging to create the world's largest cannabis company. So the world's largest company is going to be this Tilray and Aphria merger that's taking place. So those are companies we just mentioned. If you are like cannabis enthusiasts, you believe in the cannabis industry, 1, 2, 3, 4 different tickers were, and you still got Aurora Cannabis. That's the 5th one. Were highlighted in this particular part of this article. I would say for me again, I don't think that it's hard. I just don't know. I think it's going to take a while for this decriminalization to take a federal decriminalization to take place. How many things got to pass? I don't see it happening in 2021 at all. They got bigger fish to fry before they probably got to take stuff one at a time. But that doesn't mean it. I don't know. I don't know. I'm not a big believer in it taking off in 20. I think 2022 would be more of a year. I would pin for a cannabis runoff. What are your thoughts? What do you think? I'm just sharing what I think. What do you think? Hate driving in the ships because they sink in the water. I mean, do you like flying? Airplanes come down from the air. What do you mean? There's not much sinking that takes place. Do you think that sinks ship more than planes crash? Hey, another loser was oil. The oil industry, we mentioned that as we went through our losers. Plenty of industries grappled with plunging prices in 2020, but oil is the only major commodity that went negative. An unprecedented trip below zero this spring was caused by an epic collapse in demand during the pandemic and a price war between Saudi Arabia and Russia. How many guys remember that in April when oil was negative? Although crude rebounded, oil and gas companies are still in crisis. Dozens of frackers have gone bankrupt. The S&P 500 energy sector is down more than 30% this year, making it easily the worst performer in the stock market. ExxonMobil would easily be the biggest loser in the Dow Jones Industrial Average, but the once mighty company was ousted from the index this summer. So ExxonMobil is no longer in the Dow Jones Industrial Average. What do they think is next? The oil industry certainly will benefit as U.S. economy reopens in 2021 and people start flying and driving more. But corona vaccines won't fix oil's biggest threat, a climate crisis that is causing investors to dump fossil fuels. So you have the reopening of the economy, of the U.S. economy, which should drive demand for oil and gas. But then you have something that's a threat, which is climate control, being concerned about the climate, which would cause us to move as we move more towards natural power, I guess we can call that, something like that. So again, what do you think about the oil industry? That's the biggest part. Are we really going to, I know we talk about it a lot, but are we really going to start moving towards solar energy, stuff like that? So winners we have here, solar. Says the rise of socially conscious investing helped carry the solar industry to a blockbuster year. Investors increasingly view fossil fuel companies as the prime contributors to the climate crisis, and they're betting solar firms are a crucial part of the solution. The Invesco ETF has spiked more than 200% this year. Sunrun, America's largest rooftop solar company, is up more than 300%. These are staggering gains driven by strong demand for solar energy. The ascendance of the environmental, social, and corporate governance investing movement enthusiasm over the coming reversal in Washington's climate policy. So as the new regime develops new climate policy, that will drive what we're going to use for energy. Are they going to be putting money, back into? Is the regime going to change? Well, I don't know. My ExxonMobil that I have, it wasn't a terrible performer. They still paid me a dividend, which offset any losses that I had. I think I'm even on Exxon. If I look at just the stock itself, its performance, I would say it performed bad. But if I look at what they paid me to be an investor, that's offset by the dividend that they pay, and I'm pretty much even on my investment in ExxonMobil. But where will the money go? Where the money goes from our government, and once they decide which route they're going to go. See, the current regime invested in oil, right? And the current regime, Make America Great Again, is saying, hey, let's have this industrial revolution still take place again, right? But because of the pandemic and because of the price war and stuff like that, although money was being invested into these sectors, fossil fuel and stuff like that, fracking and stuff like that, it wasn't enough to help weather the storm. As we get into 2021, this new regime, where they put their money is where their heart is, not where they say they're gonna do. It's where the money is being spent that's going to make the difference. That's the part that I personally have to wait on. Where are you going to spend the money, which is going to be a boost for that particular sector, that particular company, whatever the case may be? Within the spending, your expenses, where's the money being spent? Once I'm able to see that, I get past all the speeches, I get past everything they say, I get past all of that, and I get to, here's what you did. Here's what you are doing. Your actions speak much louder than your words. I'll pay attention to your actions. Then I'll know which route to go. Whether I'm loading up with the belief, staying with oil, which I don't necessarily believe that they will do. I got to take them for their word right now. But I'm also not loading up on solar energy right now either, because that could have been a big boost. But then when we get into the regime, there's no money really being spent there. And so because it turns into a loss because we're chasing the money. I don't chase money. So again, I'm on limbo on that one. I don't know about you guys, but I'm waiting on that to hear, to see and believe before I, really go heavy into either one of those sectors, oil or solar. Now, I could be a gambler and say, let me go ahead and gamble and go ahead and get in early, but I don't gamble like that. I'd rather put my money in stuff that I truly believe in. A loser in 2020, banks. It was easily the worst year for America's banks since the Great Recession. Lenders suffered tens of billions of dollars in losses as they braced for loan defaults and share prices spiraled lower. Even big banks such as Citigroup and Bank of America are finishing the year sharply lower. Wells Fargo remains a hot mess. The good news for banks, what's next? That's what's happening. That's what happens during a recession. Banks suffer as defaults mount. Loan demand shrinks and interest rates plunge. The silver linings that the U.S. banking system just endured a real-world stress test and passed. Thanks in part to the emergency measures of the Federal Reserve and Congress, no major banks collapsed. Booming financial markets also helped cushion the blow, with banks cashing in as IPOs and debt sales surge. If Wall Street's V-shaped recovery spreads to Main Street, banks stand to be the winners in 2021. This is interesting as well. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, because it's not just a recession. Now, obviously, banks are a big part of our economy, but they also have people are now also moving towards alternative ways to do their banking. That's another big problem with the technology being brought in from i.e. Bitcoin, or i.e. Square having Cash App and stuff like that. I think there's a shift taking place in the financial in the tool that is used mostly when it comes to our financial market. Now, when it getting loans and stuff like that, clearly, if they're giving loans out at historically low rates, that's not really a very strong. There's not really a super profitable area for the banks either. So they don't really make a lot of money giving loans at 0%. How they gonna make money? So that's not a particularly great space for the banks either. So I don't know if I necessarily. I mean, yeah, they passed. They're not gonna go under. We bailed them out before, but I think this year is different. I think there's other factors that come into play with these traditional banks that not even being discussed in this particular article when you talk about these alternative banks that people are the next generation are starting to turn to. That's why we have to continue to hold them to things that I know they spend a lot of money to try to get your vote, people. Don't let them become obsolete when we get into March. Once we pass Black History Month, people stop caring about all this stuff we just dealt with for the past. I'm telling you, if they call my phone one more time, I think because the passion behind criminal justice reform will be the change in 2021. Yeah, there's definitely a huge push for criminal justice reform. That was in each part of each party's plans in some form or fashion. Again, I've been living on this earth long enough to know that although it's a hot topic when it's time to get in, it don't necessarily remain hot once you get into the seat. Once you get into the seat, it seems like you get a little comfortable. That's just in life, period. Like, oh, okay, we'll get to it when we get to it. It seems like be a top priority in order to get where you want to be, which is in office. But then it seems to become, we'll get to it when we get to it when people get in office. And I could be wrong, guys. This is what I've experienced when it comes to this politics, right? It becomes we'll get to it when we get to it once we get in office, and that might be forced because you're dealing with so many different departments that things are not just going to move fast. Just not. The stimulus stuff will move fast because you got to keep the people happy. But once the people are happy, ain't nothing got to move. A winner in 2020, Bitcoin. We just talked about Bitcoin is now $29,000 per coin. It's jumped up from, I think, $14,000 out of $29,000, something like that in a year. Bitcoin, other cryptocurrency plunged alongside stock market shortly after COVID-19, the U.S. economy to a standstill. But Bitcoin has come roaring back to hit new all-time highs, nearing 30,000 since then. Prices have more than tripled this year. Investors have flocked to Bitcoin as the U.S. dollar has weakened. The U.S. dollar has weakened. Bitcoin has strengthened. The Chinese yen has strengthened. Those that are in 4X will probably be able to speak to this and probably have seen these charts and stuff like that. That's another place that you can be investing in betting on the strength and weaknesses of currencies. Largely resulted in the Fed slashing rates to zero. A top hedge fund manager, Paul Tudor Jones and Stanley Druckenmiller, helped validate Bitcoin with investments this year. Many investors view Bitcoin as a replacement for gold, a hedge against the further declines in the dollar. Look at that. Look at that. Wow, that's a strong statement. You all these gold enthusiasts, man, you say that to them, they're going to go crazy. Like, what? As a replacement for gold, yeah. So Bitcoin may become more acceptable from digital payments in 2021 now that fintech powerhouse Square and PayPal are both letting users buy, sell, and hold Bitcoin. So Square and PayPal both have places where you can buy and sell Bitcoin. So if you don't want to use, I mentioned Coinbase in my presentation yesterday. I buy Bitcoin through Square as well. That's another place for it. If you have a PayPal account, you can do it there. So now it's become more available for people to buy and hold Bitcoin through these other platforms. Now he believes that Mr. Anthony Scaramucci believes that it will remain strong investment. It could suddenly tumble 20 to 50%. And that was I mentioned this yesterday as well. Bitcoin, I don't like buying stuff at an all-time high. I just don't. To me, it's too much. It's too much risk for it to turn. If I'm buying it at an all-time high, I just don't like to buy stuff at all. I just don't believe that's a sale. I mean, it could keep going up, but they said the same thing back in 2017 when it was going up like crazy to almost 19,000. They kept saying I was going to go up to 50,000. That's what the people do, but it didn't do that. It turned. It went from 19,000 down to 8,000, and then now it's back up to 29,000. But this is how investments go. They don't just keep going up forever. So if I was talking to someone new who doesn't own Bitcoin, I own Bitcoin, so I buy on average. But to get in now, hoping that it's going to go to 60,000, I think is a far-fetched idea. I think in the next 3 to 6 months, we'll see a drop or decline in Bitcoin. It's moved up too high, too fast. And once things come out, once people become more comfortable with spending, once the stimulus checks come and stuff like that, the strength of the dollar starts coming back also. Through the economy recovering, you're going to start seeing that was a hedge against the money. Now it's going to go back. It's going to come out of Bitcoin. Then they're going to use that money, their profits from there, to start investing in stuff that's low now. It's just a cycle that investors do. I buy low, I sell high. The key to that is that I bought it. At some point, I'm going to sell it. Guess what happens when I sell it? I sell it, I get my profit, and then I take my profit, I invest in something else that's low at that time. And that's a cycle that's a way that you can really turn money quickly. You just say, hey, I got this. It's greater value now. I am going to sell it. You know the problem with many of us? Let me tell you the problem with many of us, black folk, particularly. For many of us, we are so loyal to stuff that no longer serves our purpose, we have a hard time selling or letting go. We'll still believe long after the time has passed. The strength of an investor is knowing when to buy and when to sell. There are some things that you might never sell. But as an investor, knowing, okay, now's the time to sell. I think that's the second most difficult part of investing. The first part is knowing when to buy, but knowing when to sell. Say, okay, now get out. Now's the time for me to reduce my position. Now's the time for me, instead of just out of sight, out of mind, many of us do. We're investing, got our retirement going. We never look at it. We just hope and pray that it'll be somewhere in the future. We won't keep our tabs on it. It's called neglect. There's retirement by neglect. And then when you retire by neglect, you typically don't have as much as you could have as you paid. Everybody hear what I'm talking about now? Everybody put it down, so pay attention. If you retire by neglect, you know with money than you should have had you paid. Got out of some of those bad funds that you've been in for 20 years that now 20 years later, they're not operating the way they used to. Matter of fact, many of you guys are still invested in stuff that now we've talked about it. You know it ain't, you have a belief it's not going to do well. You saying, hey, retail has changed. You saying that the game has changed as far as technology is concerned. Business has changed as well. But but then when I look at your portfolio, your retirement account, when I look at your 401k, when I look at your TSP, when I look at the stuff that you're invested in, will it say that you agree with what you just said? Again, are you in alignment? Are you in alignment with what you said, what you know to be true, what you believe to be true? Does it align with where you have your money stored? Or is it time for you to take a look at these to assess, to review? Is it time for you to do an annual review of your money and ask yourself, does my money align with where I believe that the future is going? Am I still in retail, believing that retail is on his last leg? Am I still invested in it? Do I have these accounts where I'm invested in a space where I don't believe in them? But it's not that I want to be invested in them. I just haven't taken the time to look at my own money and then make some adjustments, make some course corrections to catch up with the time. What I believed 20 years ago is not the same thing that I believe today. But I'm too lazy, or there hasn't been a brother like ERGJ has come around and say, hey, go take a look at your money. It's your money. Review it. If you don't know how to review it, pay somebody to help you review it, i.e. I do retirement reviews. So you can see if you need to make some adjustments so you can be current. Everybody putting down so current with the times. Some of you guys got portfolios, some 1950 portfolios. Now, it's okay. Some of those things have done very well for you over that 50-year period. But some of those things you should have got out of a long time ago if you simply paid attention. And this is the part that's not discussed in our community, to pay attention to your money. All right, let me finish this up. I'm sorry if I'm stepping on some toes. Airlines was a loser. We talked about that. Airline industry had an awful year in the past, but none as devastating and horrendous as 2020. U.S. travel came to a virtual halt in April. Traffic rebounded modestly late in the year despite climbing COVID-19 cases, but the number of passengers screened by TSA and U.S. airports was still down 63%. From a year ago during holiday travel season. Airlines got $50 billion in grants and loans from the federal government earlier this year to weather the storm and are poised to get an additional $15 billion from the recently passed stimulus package, but they still lost $24.2 billion the first 9 months of this year. More losses expected in the fourth quarter and into 2021. Air travel isn't expected to recover for several years. Even as the vaccine raises hopes for the end of the pandemic, air traffic, especially the more lucrative business travel, typically takes several years to recover following a recession. Hence the reason why this just is straight on point for me. Like it's hard. I'm not like going, yay, let's go Delta, let's go American Airlines, let's go United Continental. I don't believe, again, for the next year that we're going to see a huge recovery in airline stocks. Again, like I said, for me, I invest in the planes because that's not just dependent on business travel. That's not just dependent on what's the word I'm looking for? Domestic travel. Not just dependent on recreational travel. That people who make the planes also make planes so in case we go to war, which you're probably not going to go to war with often, but in case there was somebody, they make planes for the army and stuff like that. They make planes. That people buy planes, not just Delta, United Airlines. People are going to need planes, they buy planes. So I went with the plane makers versus the airline industry. So, yeah, anyway, big is a winner. Loser was the malls. Let's see how long this is. Big retail was the winner. I'm going to do all of these because loser was all the big tech was a winner in 2020. Manufacturing was a loss. Big loser in 2020. Creators, big win for content creators. Lost a lot of money. Streaming on it. See, you see how loser lost. Streaming was a win. That's the disruption. Streaming is the new movies. And but you guys can come check this article out if you are like, you're like, let me go through this thing and really read more stuff up. But those are places that I felt it was good to kind of go through this article a little bit because it kind of echoed what I was kind of doing from a a simpler standpoint. But that's the link to the article there. I'm back. All right, so I think maybe I might be. I don't know how long I got on Facebook, but I'm about to wrap this thing up. So anyway, just to kind of recap with you guys, I'm back. We have as we move into 2020, you want to do a money turn up. You have to turn up on the inside first. You have to, in order for things to change for you, you have to change. If things didn't go well in 2020, you want things to get better. In 2021, you got to get better. If things went well in 2020 and you want things to get better, you got to get better. So you got to be open and willing and willing to change so that things can change for you. And that comes down to your money. I went through a process of saying, hey, here's how you can take a look at what you have done, what you're currently doing, and what's coming down the pipe to put yourself in a position, right, to turn up with your money. You got to review first. What's good, what's bad, what happened in the past. Take a look at what happened in the past. Then you got to get to a space of reality in the current space. If I keep doing what I'm currently doing, where am I headed? And then you have to decide where you want to be. If where you decide where you want to be is also where you are headed, then you're on the right track. If where you decide that you want to be is not aligned with where you are headed, then something has to change. Once you get into alignment, you decide which one of those is going to change. You're going to change your direction or you're going to change your destination. They become into alignment. Now you can get the most powerful force in the world on your side. That would be the universe. To conspire on your behalf to help you get to where you want to go. So when I set forth for myself that, hey, I want to end with I want to have a $10,000 account by the end of the year in 2020. I set that as my goal, with a smart goal, with a measured. It was timely. It was something that was achievable, or something that was realistic. And then I look at my account now at $19,366, almost doubling, what I had set. It tells me that I simply crushed my goal, but I didn't do it by myself. I did it with the help of the universe who said, you know what, son, you got clarity. You know what, son, you know where you're going. And because you know where you want to go, we're going to help you. I'm going to help you get there. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways is the verse that comes from the Bible. And if you are double-minded, you're saying you want to go here, but you actually on your way there, that's double-minded. So I think a key word for 2021, if you want to turn your money up, is to align where you say you want to go and where you are actually headed. If they come into agreement, alignment, then you'll see 2021 become the biggest turn up for your finances in your life. On the flip side, if you are unwilling to align, if you will continue to fool yourself that I can talk a good talk, but my walk is on a whole separate direction, you're going to find yourself in the same position, either where you are just you're surviving, or you'll find yourself in a worse position at the end of 2021, where you're now wondering what happened. And you'll remember this conversation. I never got into alignment. It's not about what you do. You can do anything. You can decide to do whatever. But it's about getting into alignment and getting into agreement from your mouth to your soul. They work in conjunction together to help you accomplish your goals, your dreams, and your aspirations. That's my time for you tonight, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed it. You took something away. I'd love to share something that you took away from today, something that you learned, something that you say, you know what, this was worth my time. I don't do this just to do this. I do this to make a difference. And hopefully we made a difference this year, 2020, in your life, especially for those that the BBC decided to join us on that side of things, but for anybody else. We hope to have had a positive impact in your life for 2020. And we hope to continue to help you get to where it is that you want to be your best life in 2021. In particular, your best financial life, because that's what I focus on, money. helping you get to your best financial life in 2021. But the biggest component to you getting there is you. Your declarations, your willingness to sacrifice, your decision to align yourself from mouth to spirit in truth. From mouth to spirit in truth. I've yet to meet a man who was determined to do a thing, who did not accomplish that thing once he had a destination and a sense of direction, and obviously extreme desire to get there. This is the New Black Wall Street. I'm your host, ERGJ, certified financial educator. I want to say thanks so much for tuning in tonight, New Year's Eve, as we get ready to turn up and do the money turn up in 2021. I hope you got your money dance ready, because that's what we're going to be doing all year long, right? We're going to get to the money. That's what we're going to do. So hopefully you guys enjoyed tonight. This is my rant. I do this on a semi-regular basis. So, it's a little bit longer than I normally would go, but I think it's hopefully I brought value into your life here tonight. Let me see what you guys are saying there, man. Miss Kayawa, many thanks. I appreciate the flexible alignment. That has a positive impact on me and will guide me as I move through 2021. Absolutely. Thank you, Evan. No problem, man. Thanks so much. Appreciate you. Miss Goodridge in the house. Being in alignment will bring the best in 21. Get better. Absolutely, man. It's good. Get in alignment, get better. Right? Things will get better. From mouth to spirit and truth. That's it. As one think of, therefore, as a man think of, therefore he or she is. Absolutely, man. Well, beautiful people, I want you guys to remember this, that it takes a village. It starts with us. Let's build as we climb together. We all we got, beautiful people. Matter of fact, we're all we need. Thank God, that's more than enough. Till next episode, you know what time it is. Mr. DJ, the music.
The New Black Wall Street. Thanks you for joining the show. We gave a lot of great tips, but it's time to go. Take the knowledge we shared, hope you use it and grow. We will see you all there at the next episode of